Hey guys, I'm Jade. Today is my LeetCode review vlog on the 209th problem, minimum size subarray sum. We are given an array of positive integers, nums, and a positive integer target. We have to return the minimal length of a subarray, whose sum is greater than or equal to target. If there is no such subarray, we just return 0 instead. Let's see the example 1 here. Our target should be 7, and we got a nums array here, and the output is 2, and the explanation is the subarray 4, 3 has the minimum length under the problem constraints. And then, let's get started with our intuition now. So my first straightforward intuition to solve the problem is the brute force solution. First, I would create 2 pointers to traverse all the possible subarray, and then I'll calculate the sum of each subarray. And the total time complexity for the brute force, it is big O of n cubed. And it is obvious this approach, it is not efficient. And then we can come up with another better approach, which is called sliding window approach. So the main idea is we'll use 2 pointers to create a window which can expand or contract based on the sum or its elements relative to the target. And then let's get started with our code right now. So the first step is I'm going to create a minimum length variable, and the initialized value should be integer dot max value. This is because I set the max value for our minimum length variable, and then we can make sure that any possible subarray found would be smaller, and then we'll create several extra variables to help us solve the problem. The first is the sum, which started at 0. And the sum variable will store the sum of the current window. And then we'll create a start variable, which is the start pointer variable. And it started at 0, which means our starting window, we're going to start it from left to right. And then we will have a for loop, and the iteration pointer would call the end, and also starting at 0. And the condition is n should be less than nums.length. And we have to increment end after each iteration. So the first step we're gonna do is window expansion. We will iterate through the array with the end pointer, and we have to add each element to the sum. So the first step is we are going to add the element to the sum, which is sum plus equals nums of end. And then the second step is we're going to check if the current sum is bigger than or equal to target. If so, we are going to do a window contraction. While the sum of the window is greater than or equal to the target, we'll try to shrink the window from the left to see if we can get a smaller length, as the problem asks for. So the code is while sum is bigger than or equal to target, all we're gonna do is minimum length should be updated with math.min, and minimum length itself and end minus start and plus 1. And then we have to decrement. We have to subtract the value of nums of start to reduce the window size by moving the start pointer. Let's say sum minus equals nums of start. And then we'll increment start to check for further window contraction. And out of the for loop, all we're gonna do is to return the minimum length. But before that, we have to check if the minimum length it is still the first variable, the first value. If so, we are going to return 0 as the problem asked for. So we have to check it before we return the value. We have to check if minimum length is equal to integer dot max value. If so, we are just going to return 0 as the problem asked us for, or we just return the minimum length itself. And then let's check for the correctness. And for a sliding window approach, the time complexity it is big O of n, and the n stands for the length of the inputted nums array. This is because we use 2 pointers, start and end pointer, to traverse all the elements, and each element would be traversed twice. So the overall time complexity it is big O of n, and the time complexity it is big O of 1. This is because we just create constant space to help us to solve the problem, which is not related to the input size. And this is end of my LeetCode review vlog on this problem. You can also check for the detailed notes on my GitHub repository here with very detailed explanation about the intuition, code, and code explanation and complexity analysis. And thank you guys for your watching. I will see you next time.